So when you think about buying a house, there's a number of factors that come into your mind. Number one is price. Number two is location. Um, and the third is just, if you want to commit and maybe a variety of other individual circumstances in your life, because it's one of the biggest financial decisions many people make in their life. But in this video, I want to talk about some things that need to be considered before purchasing a home. Some of these things keep me full-time on the road because I'm weary, I'm cautious, I'm concerned that the things I'm going to mention in this video are negative enough that I'm not ready to commit to buying a property again. For those who don't know, I owned a property for 15 years. 3 years ago, I sold it. And for the past 3 years, I've been living full-time on the road in my car that I'm making this video on. Well, the number one thing that I want to share with you to think about before you would buy a home is neighbors. Your neighbors who live on the side of you or maybe above you or beneath you, depending on if you're going to have a house or an apartment, they are a new relationship that will be part of your life. It's like when you start to date someone, it's a relationship that is now part of your life. Now, dating someone or marrying someone, that's a very intimate, personal relationship. So I don't want to compare the relationship with your neighbors as the same as your spouse, but you are going to be living next to your neighbors. That's a very intimate, close, unbreakable relationship. Just because of the proximity that your lives are anchored together for as long as you own that property. Now, on the positive note, there may be times where you meet great neighbors. There's been an experience that I had, I believe, overall great neighbors, and it was a blessing for a season of my life. So I don't want to say it's definitely always going to be a bad experience, but it's an experience that it is worth it to give thought. And even if you have good neighbors, if they decide to sell their property a year after you bought the property, that can make you anxious, scared, and hurt you emotionally, where now you have to deal with a whole set of new neighbors, and that will happen. If you own a property long enough, you're probably going to have an experience with a variety of different neighbors. And it's the numbers game. The more people you deal with, you're always going to have a certain percentage that are good, certain percentage that are bad, and a certain percentage of maybe, you just don't even bother with. But as I get older in life, I realize one thing I know about myself is that I like to be by myself most of the time. I'm good with people. I try to understand. I do believe I understand a variety of perspectives, but I just like to be by myself to avoid wasting my energy on frivolous things that are just not of my concern, or they drain my energy and they don't inspire me. I don't like cookouts. I don't like get-togethers. I don't like potlucks. I don't like talking about fixing things. I don't like, at this point in my life, there's been different seasons of my life. So I'm basically saying I like to be by myself most of the time. Okay. So if I like to be by myself most of the time, and if I buy a house, I am now buying an environment that's putting me next to neighbors. Okay. Potentially. Now, the other thing you can say is like, look, what if I buy property in the middle of nowhere? Look, that's possible, but your property line is always going to be next to something else. And the more property you own to give you privacy, the more you have to take care of. And when you get into the rural country land that's unrestricted land, you have neighbors that have an unrestricted mind. So again, they may like to drive their four-wheelers, they may like to shoot, they may like to hunt. And so, just remember that, like a lot of times people say the solution to dealing with neighbors is buying property in the middle of nowhere because it'll be unrestricted land. Well, let me tell you something. You are not the only one that thought of that. So you have other people with an unrestricted mind that they go out there and, you're in the Wild West. So, just got to be careful. But I'm saying all that to say, the benefit about renting or mainly nomading, being a nomad, living on the road, is that if you don't like your neighbors, you can change like this. And for those who watch my videos, look, you know that I like the ability to change my mind quickly. Even if I don't change my mind, I like to know that I'm not stuck. And when you buy into a place, whether you have good or bad neighbors, you're stuck there for better or for worse. It's a marriage. Buying a property is very similar to marriage. It's a long-term commitment and entanglement. Yes, you can get out of it. You can divorce it. You can sell it, maybe even make a profit. But there's going to be pain involved. There's going to be anguish. There's going to be an investment. So, think about your neighbors. And not just in a bad way. Just think about the entanglement, all the things I mentioned. And, think about the maintenance. Look at the size of the lawn. Think about a lawnmower. Think about a weed eater. Lawn doesn't take care of itself. Even concrete. I've been looking at, these are things you don't think about when you buy a house. I want to share it with you in this video. If you appreciate that, guys, I'm going to share some more. But click that thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not. Click the blue join button to be part of our members only chat. But what I learned, even looking at an RV lot with a concrete pad with just utilities to hook up your RV, even that RV lot, that concrete pad and the surrounding landscaping, that is the owner's responsibility. So you don't think about that, but to pour a new concrete pad could be several $1,000s. To landscape it, another couple $1,000s. And, there's upkeep involved. Even an electrical meter with the disconnect, there's upkeep. Once in a while you got to replace that or you got to maintenance that. So smaller. But even owning an RV lot has a level of maintenance, okay? And so you want to look at what is it going to do, what is it going to take financially and emotionally to upkeep the lawn, to upkeep the concrete pad, the utility post, and landscaping. What is it going to take out of my time, out of my wallet, to maintain this thing that I own? That's very important. What are the utility bills going to be like? Okay, the more square footage, the higher the utility bills, because the more you have to heat and cool. The different type of cooling or heating system, the higher the cost may be. Example, an air conditioning in your window will cost you more per month to cool the house because it's less efficient than the central air system. But a central air system is more expensive to install and maintain versus a window unit. So, you have to figure out, how do you want to pay, up front or over time? Laundry facilities, laundries, the washer, the dryer, the exhaust for both, cleaning the dryer vent every year, and how easy is it to switch out the dryer and the washer? Do you live on a second floor? I lived on a second floor, and I had to replace the washer and dryer. So, guys, that's a little bit more challenging to remove your washer and dryer, bring it down a flight of steps, and remove it. Where is your washer and dryer located? These are things you have to think about when you buy a house that you don't think about. Is it worth it to buy a house? It's a tough decision, guys. It really is. As I get older, it's tougher. Again, I'm single with no kids. I don't want a family. If you have a family, especially if you're young and you're getting ready to raise a couple kids, I can understand the need for stability. And if you're financially stable and if you have somewhat of a reliable income, then I can understand it. And I would look at buying a property again, but I think about these things now as an ex-property owner. And as someone who has lived on the road now and not had these commitments and these obligations, I think about, man, is it worth it? And I've been coming to the conclusion, no. Now, again, if I find the right deal in the right location with all these other factors considered, neighbors, maintenance, the facilities, the heating, the cooling, the laundry, where are they located? Are they located convenient? What is it like to replace them? The cost associated, etc. I have to play all these things out in my mind. And as I play all these things out, it's like, I haven't found anything that can make my life better. Because if you buy a house, it should enhance your life, make it better. If you don't give it thought and play all these things out and come to that conclusion, you're going to make your life worse buying a house. Buying a house, like buying many things, is an emotional decision. And there's nothing wrong with that. If we didn't have any emotions, we'd be robots. However, you have to add and think about some logical logistics of the home. And balance the two, logic and emotion, to come to an overall wise decision. And that's what I wanted to do in this video. I wanted to get you thinking, okay, about some things that I've experienced and I think about now when I house shop. So that I don't just think about things better than what they are. I remember I dated a girl. And I told her, you know what, I really like you. I like to be in a relationship with you. She goes, Sam, she goes, you like the idea of a relationship, but you don't like the reality. And I looked at her and I was like, she got me on that. Meaning that, you look at a house, you like the idea of owning it and coming home, but you don't see the reality of the maintenance, the upkeep, the neighbor entanglement, the never-ending work it takes to maintain a house or a relationship. You like the idea of something, but you don't like the reality. So as you think about things, then you may want to be easy out there. So I hope this video helped, guys. I try to make videos that'll spur your mind. If it did, again, please click the thumbs up. Please, if you'd like to support the channel, click that blue join button. Thank you to all my members. When you become a member, you'll get a custom badge, 5 custom emojis. You'll have unlimited access to our weekly live feeds where you come into the live chat every Sunday. And I appreciate you guys. I thank you. I hope you have a great day. I hope you keep pushing forward and that your life gets better, God willing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and love.